Hello, have a look at my picture. I'm Rebecca and my husband is called Tony and our daughter is called Tegan, and you sign it like T. The three of us, we all created this artwork together and we put into it our feelings and emotions. We all discussed it and asked each other how we felt, and we were making this artwork to remember coronavirus and that time in lockdown. It was a difficult time for us and we felt in the first lockdown quite panicky and nervous. But Tegan, of course, was excited at the possibility of not going to school and being at home. She was thinking she would really enjoy that. But Tony was quite nervous because he had to carry on going to work. And of course, at that time, the coronavirus was really a difficult problem. He had to have masks and there were no vaccinations. This was before the vaccination rollout. So it made him feel quite nervous going off to work. But we would all, the rest of us, just stay here. And then Tony would come home from work and we weren't allowed to go out anywhere. We didn't do any of the things that we used to do. We weren't allowed. I went out once a week. It was my responsibility to go and get the shopping. I'd go really early at 8 in the morning because I'd wanted to avoid the long queues. I didn't like that. So I'd grab all the shopping as quick as I could, and then Tony would help me get it in the house and we'd all put it away, and then I'd just stay home. And so 1 week turned into 2 weeks, into 3 weeks, into months, and I became so bored and anxious and worried and frustrated. Tegan's initial enthusiasm for staying at home became boredom because she wasn't getting any fresh air. We live in a flat, so we do have a shared garden, but there's no privacy there. Everyone can see you. So we did put up with it and go outside some of the time. But of course you had to think about how many people were allowed out at the same time, and could only be the three of us. It felt so different. It wasn't the same. So this artwork we created, our theme was golf. So the news said we could go back to doing some things again and that golf would then be allowed. You had a certain limit on numbers and you had to book things to be allowed to do it. We looked round and we found somewhere that was allowing golf to happen. So me, Tony and Tegan, the three of us, all went and we were so excited. We booked also a golf buggy for our bags and we drove that around. And we did that really because we wanted it to be a nice experience for Tegan. We didn't want her just sitting there doing nothing. We thought it'd be a nice positive experience for her to be driving the buggy. So here's Tegan in the buggy. I drew that. That's Tegan. And they actually allowed her to drive. They said yes, if Tony was watching her, she would be able to. So we felt a bit like it was going to the fun fair because all the fun fairs were all shut. They weren't allowed to open. But the golf buggy was a bit like doing something fun like that. And Tegan brought all these strawberries along with us for a picnic and we ate them for lunch. Can you see them there? Can you see her face is really full of smiles because she was sitting, watching the golf, eating the strawberries, and Tony, he was so happy. He was signing "I love you" and driving the buggy. We were also happy. The sun shone. It was so fresh and clear. The view was beautiful. There were butterflies, birds, even ducks, baby ducks, loads of them. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. Look at me there. I'm a happy mummy because I'm seeing my family all smiling and enjoying ourselves and just enjoying that freedom again and the air in our face and not worrying about social distancing and too many people in the same place. It was beautiful and green with a blue sky and lots of trees and flowers coming up everywhere. And I felt like I'd never seen it before. It was weird. I'd stayed in the flat, like in a box, and all I'd seen was the four walls. It was difficult. And then suddenly I had freedom, and the colours all felt so bright, all the different greens. It was beautiful. So I really enjoyed it. And that's why we created all these feelings are put into the picture, plus the yellow, which is representing the sun. And the sun went down in the afternoon and I felt so relaxed, I wasn't rushing. We just enjoyed the afternoon. We were there for about 4 hours and we just enjoyed ourselves. And at home we were absolutely tired because we'd had such a good day. It was so worth it. We were tired. I feel like it was good for our mental health, we just felt good and had a really good sleep. So that's it, that's our picture. Thank you. So during the pandemic, one thing that I found was that the queues in the shops were just awful. So I'd be waiting with my shopping and then I'd find that I couldn't hold my toilet. I'd be trying to hold it and inside I'd be getting really anxious and frustrated. So it was no good. I had to just give up, leave the shop and go home, relieve myself, and then I felt a lot better. So I thought I'd ask Brother Russell and also the sisters from my group. I'd text them and ask if could you help me get some food? And Brother Russell Sawyer, he was such a good help to me. He was such a good help. And also Tim and his wife, they helped me too. They'd buy me food and then I would pay them when they dropped the food off. So yeah, I got quite depressed in lockdown, to be honest, because I was so bored. I haven't seen my brother for 3 years now. I really want to visit him, but my brother, he said, no, I'm not going to allow you. He's still very frightened about the coronavirus. And I understand, I'm leaving it because him and his wife, they've both had cancer. It's awful. So I understand their concerns and I'm not going to force it. I'm leaving it to them. But I do feel sad about that. I miss them. So my picture is a painting and photograph and art, and I did cutting. I cut out pictures and stuck them on in collage. So I cut out a picture of my face, and then also Claire, my friend, I cut her face and put it on, and then I put a bird pecking her head. That's my way of teasing her, poor thing. So yeah, I cut and stuck everything on, ripped it or cut it. Lots of different pictures here and there. I really liked that process. I enjoyed it. It was really good, and altogether it was an amazing experience. It was beautiful. I'm really pleased with the picture I made, and we had such a good laugh on the workshop. It was good. Hello, I'd like to tell you about my picture and how I felt during lockdown. It was really difficult. At first, I was anxious and worried. I was scared to go out, to be honest. And I could only see one person at a time from my family. It really made me feel distraught. But then I remembered what I'd read in the Bible, that the earth had been created for a reason, so that people could feel happy and would continue to live. So I decided to turn to my faith in God. I tried to stop worrying and realised it was better to think positive. So I started planting seeds, and I'd water them, And then I waited. And I could see them growing from the first shoots to the leaves, how they would grow. It filled me with amazement. And I got quite excited. So I carried on planting and planting. I did fruit and vegetables. I did flowers, and they came out so beautifully. I couldn't believe it, and it really helped me change my mindset into a positive thinking.